I'm back. Yeah, I had to take some time off this last month for vacations. And one of my vacations was we did go down to Atlantic City for Saturday and Sunday for Father's Day, Juneteenth weekend. And then there was the Garden State Comic Con. Went to that one. Had some fun there. I posted a couple of videos about it. But I'm back now. Yesterday I was not streaming because there was another Comic Con. There was a local one in Hershey, Pennsylvania, in Grantville. Very nice con. I went to that con specifically when I found that Roy Thomas was going to be there, and really wanted to meet him and get some signatures from him. I got 4 books signed by him. I got my Star Wars Artist Edition. I got that one signed by him. I had the Treasury Edition of the original of the Star Wars when it first came out. But that one, it's in very bad shape. I really didn't want to get that one signed because it's just in such bad condition. And the reason why I didn't get him signed was because I don't want it to fall. It's on the verge of falling apart. So I had him sign the Artist Edition. And the Artist Edition also, because it was not just the original Star Wars story, it also had the issue with Walt Simonson and Bob Wick doing the Vash, I think his name was. He was the bounty hunter who's a cyborg. That's in it. So I had, let's see, I've had Walt sign it on Garden State, had Howard Chaykin sign it, who was at the show, who was at Hershey. Roy signed it, and then I had Bob Wick sign it. So a nice collection of signatures in that book. Now, really enjoy that book. I also had Roy sign one of my Tarzan comics. The Tarzan comic was from my very original collection when I was a kid. So having him sign it was of great significance to me, along with issue 7 of All-Star Squadron. And he was akin with me, where it's like, what made that book so good was you didn't have Batman, you didn't have Wonder Woman, you didn't have Superman. It was it really stuck to the core of superheroes before they were called superheroes. They were called mystery men. And All-Star Squadron really went into that. And it's what All-Star Squadron is what made me a fan of the Justice Society. Roy even said how it's like he had the ability when he was doing that book. He could have done the Justice Society during war or whatever, expanded or whatever. He wanted to give them a whole new name of the team, which is the reason why he had it named just All-Star Squadron. I'm glad he did. I really enjoyed that book, so having him sign it was a great significance to me. So, hey, I'm at 99 subscribers, which means, oh my goodness, I'm 400 subscribers away of being monetized. Yeah, they used to have it where you had to have 1,000 subscribers. It's now been brought down to 500. So I'm really happy to have so many people jumping on board. Feel free to share it out and offer it as a suggestion to your people that follow you on Twitter and Facebook. Every single subscriber helps. Now, keep in mind, with me doing this, it's like my goal with getting 500 subscribers really doesn't have anything to do with getting monetized. It has more to do with getting eyeballs on what I'm doing. The piece I'm working on right now is this is for the Diaz brothers, their Lost Pages. Book 3 is out and it's campaigning, and they have an art contest. So I wanted to take part in it. So you can see I'm having fun. I have the hobo reading the lost page, and then I got some of the pages just floating up into the air, kind of like embers. They catch, like when paper catches fire, how it floats up as it burns. That's what the image is. What's being implied here, with the pages going up the side and then coming down and getting larger as they go down. And inside the pages, you have the action of the story as it's going. So, having a lot of fun doing it. And so you want to check out the lost pages. I would definitely advise you to check them out. They're available on Indiegogo. You can find them on YouTube and on Twitter for the link. I'm going to have the link in this description. So check it out. Okay? So, but make sure you're subscribing and you're commenting and you're liking, along with sharing it out. So every person that does that helps out the channel. So, and as you can see, what my channel primarily consists of is exactly what I'm doing right now. It consists of showing you how I render an image using the dots. So, with the show yesterday in Hershey, first person I saw and I got signatures for him was Dave Sharp. Dave Sharp, he is a letterer. He lives in the Harrisburg area, and I did some research, and according to Mike's Amazing Comic Books, Marvel Comics Presents issue 79 was his very first the very first issue he ever did, so it's his first professional work. So I had him sign it, and I actually told him that and asked him to sign it that way, which he did. He was really surprised. He kind of did that cringe, like, oh God, let me look how bad this is. And I said to him, hey, it's not about how bad you were, it's about how good you were to get the job. And he was like, yeah, you're right. He went into his history with working in the industry. He has reinforced what many have said, where if you work for Marvel, it's like, yeah, you get to work with the cooler characters, but your pay is less. The reason why he did Marvel for such a long period of time was because he was under contract. He was an office staff, but the thing was because he was on staff, he admits how he missed out on so many opportunities like vacation, weddings, because he had deadlines to meet as a contracted employee of Marvel. And he confirmed also that in working for DC treats you much better, and they treat their employees with much more respect, which I've always felt that, which for the longest time was hard to. You're really up against the wall, and people are just like, oh no, Marvel's so much better than DC. It's like, from a reader's point of view, you can state that, but once you really get into it, the nuts and bolts of the medium, the industry, I was very happy that I was much more of a DC guy because of the fact that DC was doing a much better job of treating their employees, their hired talent, recognizing that, hey, the reason why we're doing so well is because of the talent. So they were so I am glad he helped reinforce that. I've known that for quite a while from speaking to other artists when they talk about how the company was much better with giving royalties out, how I know Joe Staten, how with him, one of his I guess you could say his evergreen character that makes him money is Kilowog, and whenever Kilowog would be like toy or in the video games or in the one movie or cartoons, he would get royalties. So it was, so from hearing that from Joe and him, being reinforced in so many ways by Dave's very, very nice. And actually, doing the research and having like, hey, this is your very first book. This was also one of your very first jobs, which is actually X-Force number 9. It brought a tear to his wife's eye that I was having him sign those specific books. And all the books I signed, I explained to him the significance of having him sign the book. Like one was Fantastic Four with Paul Ryan. I told him, I said, the reason why I'm having him sign the issue, it wasn't necessarily about how good or how bad his work was on the book. It's because I never got to meet Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan is one of the artists I've always liked. So having him sign, even though I never got to meet him, having one of his books signed by someone else who is part of the creative process in some ways brings me closer to having his signature in my collection, even though I never will unless I were to buy a book on eBay or something, which I don't like to buy books that are already signed. I want the books to be signed in front of me. So it was just like really, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. And like I said, his wife was very touched that I was picking out specific issues. So another person I had to have sign some of Paul's stuff was Sam De La Rosa. He's like, when I saw that the Hershey Comic-Con was coming out, the 3 artists, I was like, oh, I have, even if I can only get signatures from these 3 creators. It was Roy Thomas, Sam De La Rosa, and it was also Angel Medina. Angel is one of those artists that I've told him up front. I said, I admire his style because he's able to do the cartoony superhero stuff, but I'm also very envious of him because he does such a good job of doing the push and pull and stretching and over-exaggerating stuff, his work, which is very hard to do. Being able to do in a cartoony, animated style, but still give it that comic book look and feel to it it's a skill that you acquire, and he has that skill. He'll draw like a bunch of characters, you have them like with a really big nose, or it might draw them like when he exaggerates the foreshortening. Fingers might be like extra large and extra like puffy. And another thing also he does about that I really like his work is he gives his characters, or he gives his work, a softness. That's something that not a lot of artists can do. Is he can give the face and the body just by doing like, he'll do like the line work here, but then he adds these other lines right in here, okay? And it gives his work a softness to it, which I greatly admire. And like I said, it makes me envious because he does such a good job, and I told him that. In fact, I bought one of his sketches. It was like fun sketches. It was like for like $10. I'm going to make a copy of that, and I'm going to stipple it. So he'll be able to see my progress with using his style with my stippling. I hope I do the work justice. Like I said, he was one of the creators when I saw he was going to be at the Hershey show. It was like no ands, ifs, or buts. I need to get into that show so I can see him. So I'm very glad to have met him and have him sign the books I had him sign. So one thing that I really want to stress is, one thing I've noticed is that with these creators, they're really discovering, or I should say the smaller venues are discovering, is get the artists in there. Get back to the roots of Comic-Cons and don't rely on the studios, don't rely on these in some ways you want to get the voice actors in there, but really overall you want to get the artists in there, and that's really drives the show. Because you think about it, it's a comic book show. You're going to have dealers there selling their work that if, like, let's say I want a book, a specific book, and I don't have it, I can look through that show, find it, and then walk over after buying it and have the creator sign it. So, but no, it was a great show. And another person I saw was Richard Bonk, and I asked him if he's gotten any pushback from attendees or just in general with having done Private America. And he said no, because the only thing they had was that issue with getting it pulled down by that one individual who they do have legal action against. But like people coming up to him at the show, he's never had anybody come up to him at the show and give him a hard time about having done the book. And I read like the first, like, I want to say 8 pages so far. I was very tired last night, so I didn't read too much of it. But what I did read, all it is about a private individual who used to be in the military, and he's defending these people as they cross the border from these low-life scum that want to take advantage of them. And it then goes into how the cartels are like, hey, we got this problem going on, we got to hire somebody to take this guy out. So I get the suspicion that it's going to be an issue where he's going to be patrolling the border, making sure it's safe for the immigrants trying to cross the border, and he's now going to fight this soldier of the cartel who's disrupting their fentanyl trade and their cocaine trade going over the border. So another thing that also he did was he took out some Afghani terrorists who are trying to cross over the border. So I look at it, and so far I've not seen anything racist about it, and it's amazing how and Graham said the same thing, how you go to the show and there's no one causing problems and like, oh, you're misogynistic, you're a Yahtzee. No, they are happy to see them. They want to, like, hey, this is one of my favorite comic books, can you please sign it? There's no problems. It's all these people that hide behind a keyboard. It's a perfect example is they make they're passing these laws about how if you misgender somebody, you can hit with this huge fine. I'm sorry, I have never, ever in my life had to deal with any person who would put me down or even ask for me to use their pronouns. It's a made-up thing that I've never had to deal with. So I find it hilarious how people they're passing laws about this. And I'm like, oh my God, I'd hate to be the person who has to spend all the money to get this going up to the Supreme Court. Just the Supreme Court go, yeah, this is absolute bullshit. So I don't know. What you see being portrayed in the media and what you're seeing portrayed in social media is so far from the truth when you're actually out in the real world dealing with individuals. But no, I had a great time at Hershey. I had a great time at Garden State. One thing I did get a lot of comments on was a lot of people who don't know anything about Comicsgate, don't know anything about Dale Keown, don't know anything about the Animal Press. A lot of people, either they knew the shirt, knew what it was from, and they'd say something, or they were like, hey, that's a really cool shirt, and then you're like, do you know about it? And they go, no. And you start to explain to them, and then they're like, oh, wow. So I've been pushing, I think, like at least 4 to 5 people in talking and from compliments of my Dale Keown Werewolf shirt. I've really been pushing to like, hey, you need to start watching Aaron live. You need to start watching aunt and stuff. You need to start watching Michael Bancroft. So I'm hoping that from what I was saying to these people over the last 2 weekends results in more people checking out these shows and discovering how there is still a community of people out here who love comics and love how they're being made and how they used to be made. So I hope it results in more people watching those shows, not just the people who are going for the shock value of, let's say, Ethan or John Malin or Cecil. So I have read Cash Grab. I will try to do a review of the book. I'm almost done. I just started watching, or I should say reading, Zombie Sama's Dorm of the Dead. The first 2 books I read, enjoyed them a lot. I'm going into Dorm of the Dead, so I'm just starting to watch that one, or I should read that one. But I'll try to give you guys a review on that one. So, hey guys, I'm going to get back to working on this, or keep working on this. You guys have a great day. Remember, 4th of July, celebration of the independence of our country is on Tuesday. So make sure you celebrate and be proud of the red, white, and blue. But until then, remember, life is stressful. Just take it all one dot at a time.